The rain poured relentlessly that evening, streaking the window panes like tears nobody wanted to shed. Inside the warm glow of a luxurious apartment, laughter echoed, loud, proud, and a little cruel. In the middle of the grand living room stood a fragile old man, clothes damp from the storm, his eyes brimming with both hope and fear. His voice trembled as he stretched his shaking hand toward the young woman before him. "I'm your father," he whispered to the tall young man standing frozen at the doorway. But before the young man could respond, the fiancée, elegant, sharp-eyed, dressed in silk and pride, burst into mocking laughter. "Your father? Don't make me laugh," she said, her voice dripping with disdain. "You mean this beggar? Standing here in rags, smelling of the streets, daring to ruin our evening? He's no father. He's a shame." The words cut deeper than knives. The old man staggered, gripping his chest, but still looked toward his son with desperate eyes. Part 1: The Forgotten Father. Abdul Rahman had once been a man of dignity. In his younger days, he was a respected schoolteacher in a small town, known for his gentle voice, honesty, and wisdom. His wife, Aisha, had been his anchor, and together they raised a son, Hamza, whom they adored more than life itself. Abdul Rahman dreamed of giving Hamza everything he never had. He worked long hours, tutoring students late into the night, often skipping meals to save money. He believed education was the greatest gift a father could give, and he poured all his efforts into Hamza's future. When Hamza turned 18, Abdul Rahman sold the small piece of land he inherited from his father to pay for Hamza's university education in the city. He remembered the day vividly. "Baba, are you sure? That land was your security," Hamza had said, guilt clouding his eyes. Abdul Rahman smiled. "You are my security, my son. Go and study. Make something of yourself." A father's joy is in seeing his son rise. And rise, Hamza did. With his father's sacrifices, he graduated with honors, landed a prestigious job in a multinational company, and climbed the ladder of success with astonishing speed. Soon, he was living in a grand apartment, driving expensive cars, and mingling with the city's elite. But with success came distance. Phone calls became shorter, visits became rare. Abdul Rahman, now aging and frail, waited by the door every Eid, hoping to see his son return, only to receive excuses about work, deadlines, or travel. Then Aisha fell ill. Her last wish was simple: bring Hamza home. "I want to see him one last time." Abdul Rahman called his son again and again, but the calls went unanswered. By the time Hamza finally returned, his mother had already been buried. Standing by her grave, Abdul Rahman's heart broke. He looked at his son, well-dressed, handsome, but with eyes that avoided his own. "She waited for you," he whispered. Hamza lowered his head in silence. From that day on, Abdul Rahman lived alone in the old house, surviving on meager savings and the kindness of neighbors. Part 2: The Fiancée. Years passed. Hamza thrived in the city. And soon, he met Sarah. Sarah was stunning, graceful in appearance, sharp in mind, and ambitious in spirit. She came from a wealthy family and had grown up in luxury. To her, status and image mattered more than anything. When Hamza proposed, she accepted, not out of pure love, but because she saw in him the partner who matched her ambitions. A wealthy apartment, a growing career, expensive dinners, he fit her vision of success. But there was one thing she never asked about: his family. Hamza, ashamed of his humble roots, rarely mentioned his father. He had built a new identity in the city, polished and flawless, and he feared that bringing up his poor, aging father would shatter that image. Sarah assumed his parents were gone. Hamza, too cowardly to explain, let her believe it. Until the day Abdul Rahman appeared at their doorstep. Part 3: The Humiliation. It was the evening of Hamza and Sarah's engagement celebration. Guests filled the apartment, toasting champagne, music playing softly in the background. Sarah glowed in a silver gown, diamonds glittering on her ears. Then came a knock. When Sarah opened the door, she froze. An old man, frail and drenched in rain, stood there holding a small bundle wrapped in cloth. His hands trembled, his eyes filled with tears of longing. Is Hamza here?" he asked. Sarah's lip curled in disgust. "Who are you? What do you want?" The old man swallowed hard. "I am Abdul Rahman. Hamza is my son." The words were soft but steady. Yet, instead of compassion, Sarah burst into laughter. "Your son? Don't be ridiculous. Do you even see yourself? Look at your clothes. Look at your shoes. My fiancé is a successful man, he doesn't belong to your kind." The guests nearby turned their heads, whispers rising. Sarah raised her voice, enjoying the performance. "People like you always try to claim what isn't theirs. Do you think by calling yourself his father, you'll get money? Shelter? Pathetic." She shoved him back slightly, her face burning with disdain. "Leave. Before I call security." Abdul Rahman stumbled, his bundle falling to the floor. Inside was a small, carefully wrapped gift, a simple watch, the same one he had worn for decades but repaired countless times. He had polished it himself, thinking his son might appreciate it as a token from his father. Tears blurred his vision as he tried to speak. "Please. I am not here for money. I just wanted to see him. I just wanted to bless him and his bride-to-be." But Sarah crossed her arms, unmoved. "Blessing? From you? You are nothing but a beggar who will shame us in front of society. Get out." And then it happened, the words he never imagined he would need to shout. With tears streaming down his wrinkled face, he cried out toward the doorway where his son stood frozen. "I'm your father." Part 4, The Son Returns. The room fell silent. Every eye turned to Hamza. His face was pale, his lips trembling. He hadn't expected his father to come. He hadn't prepared for this moment. For a second, fear held him back. Fear of Sarah's judgment, of losing the respect of her wealthy friends, of tarnishing the image he had worked so hard to build. But then he saw it, the old man's trembling hands, the gift lying broken on the floor, the humiliation in his eyes. He remembered the nights his father stayed awake to teach him, the mornings he skipped meals so Hamza could eat, the sacrifices, the love, the land he sold. And guilt crashed down like a tidal wave. "Baba," he whispered. Sarah grabbed his arm. "Hamza, don't listen to him. He's lying. Look at him. He doesn't belong here. Think of your reputation." Hamza looked at her, then at his father, and something inside him broke. "No, Sarah," he said firmly, shaking off her grip. "He does belong here. More than anyone. Because without him, I wouldn't even be standing here today." He rushed forward, falling to his knees before his father. Tears poured down his face as he clutched Abdul Rahman's frail hands. "Baba, forgive me. Forgive me for abandoning you, for not being there for Ami, for letting my pride blind me. You are my father. And nothing in this world is greater than that." The old man sobbed, his weak arms wrapping around his son. "My boy. I never wanted wealth. I never wanted fame. I only wanted you." The guests watched in silence, some wiping their eyes. But Sarah, humiliated and furious, spat out, "So this is your truth? A poor father from the slums? You deceived me, Hamza. I will not marry a man with such roots." Hamza stood tall, holding his father's hand. His voice was steady, filled with new strength. "Then you don't deserve to marry me. Because a man who is ashamed of his father is not a man at all. And I refuse to live a life built on shame." With that, Sarah stormed out, her heels clicking furiously